Welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight, the weekly coaches show for Kings Mountain High School, brought to you by KMHS Sports and the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club.
Good evening, Mountaineer fans. Welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight with Coach Herron. I'm your host, Craig Short. Drew's behind the controls. We're going to get into it just in a moment. We're going to talk tonight, Coach Herron, about the big win this past Friday night against Ashbrook Green Wave, and then we're going to talk about the upcoming game this week down at Crest High School against the Crest Chargers. We'll also name our Butler Outdoor Design Players of the Week and our Teammate of the Week. So we'll be back in just a moment after the break, and we'll get into it, so stick around.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, KM Family YMCA, KM Paint Pros LLC, Arthur Services Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back, fans. Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Welcome to the show. Another huge win, conference win Friday night against Ashbrook. Man, that was a cool atmosphere. They had a great crowd. We had a great crowd. A lot riding on the line. They'd come off that big win since over South Point. We got a victory the week before as well. I tell you what, they absolutely passed the looks test. They are a good team. I mean, a tremendously good team. And our boys stepped up and met the challenge. I thought they were ready. It looked like I was excited to see them play. In fact, we started out with a 3-and-out on defense. I know we love those. And Thomas Fair made a huge play to get it going. And we get the ball back in decent territory and give it right back to them. But then we make another stand.
Yeah.
The snap, I know he had one go over his head, the quarterback did, so that helped us, but our defense really buckled, or didn't buckle. They really got in there and were strong.
That first part of the game was very important. I thought when we came off, as soon as we came out, after the kickoff, our defense just absolutely stunned them, I believe. And this is what I'm really excited about our team is then we get the ball. And on the first play, we fumble it.
Yep.
A change that I'm seeing with our guys was there's no pointing fingers. Nobody was going crazy on the sideline. Nobody got down. Mm-hmm. Defense went right back out there and went right back to work and got us the ball back. And then our offense took off.
Yeah.
So, you hate that you have a fumble and especially on your first play from scrimmage, but it's a great feeling to see your sideline and guys not folding up and people not pouting and upset and throwing things and whatever. They just kind of took it and like, all right, let's move on to the next one. So that's a great part of building character, I believe.
Absolutely. I mean, Ashbrook got it in good territory right there. I mean, if I remember correctly, they were in plus territory, and then they get it, and then we were able to make a stand. Samaj had a huge play on the quarterback. And then, they miss a field goal. And then next thing you know, we get the ball and we're moving right down the field and we get the big pass to Tex.
Yes.
And I'm not going to make you talk about the penalty other than this. The penalty was called, so it's a live ball foul, correct? Because it happened during the play. So did they mark it from where Tex caught it and marked it back?
No, it goes from the end of the play.
Got it.
And they marked it from the end of the play.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I would have to go back and check the rules because my question is, what if he had scored?
Yes.
Where would they have marked it from?
Right.
And so I'm not going to get into the details of it all, but it was a pretty ticky-tack call in the first place. So but it was on us. I mean, we need to do better on the sideline. I thought we were, but we need to do even better.
So we'll get to the second quarter in just a moment, but that basically took us to the end of the first quarter. So right out of the gate, how did you feel about what we did and how we performed, the team performed that whole first quarter?
Well, I felt good about our defense and what they were doing and what they were being able to do. At that point I was concerned because our running game is so important to us, and the running game was not working very well. So that was kind of an issue for me, but at the same time, I mean, that's what happens. And but when you have some big pass plays and things like that, it obviously it makes you feel better. And you were talking about Thomas Fair having a big play on that first drive, that first series, and he did. Thomas had a great night. It was that was his breakout game for this year, and it's good to see. And then, but Tex and TJ, they did a great job. And Gash was in there too to open up the game for us a little bit, and being able to throw the ball. And
I was going to speak to that in a moment. Gash going in at running back, that was a nice thing to see and help spell us a little bit. So the running game does pick up in the second quarter because we get our first touchdown off a rushing TD at the 11:04 mark, and that had to feel good because it ended that. Well, it ended the drive that was at the end of the first quarter where we were down here on this end after the big play. You had to feel good about that because then the defense comes back in. We make another huge stand. Gash gets an interception, and we're right back again. We're right back cooking again. I mean, so that meant you had to feel good about how it started that second quarter.
Definitely. And then, right there, I believe right before the half, we had we were feeling pretty good. Then we had the face mask penalty and give them an opportunity. Their quarterback made a good play, get a first down. Then we had the face mask penalty, and then it was just poor defensive technique by us by not taking the quarterback and them going down and scoring. But then at the same time, we blocked the PAT.
Sure did.
So all of it just kind of kept rolling, and it did feel good, except for heading into halftime, went from a 14-0 to 14-12. So we're only up 2, but we were up.
Yeah, and that was a big deal because we get on their first touchdown, we blocked the PAT, which is great. That I put the note down. Did I get that? I got that right, didn't I? We blocked the first one. I thought I made the right note. And then they go for 2 on the second one, and we stuff them.
And we stop them.
And that's how we end the half. So I felt like, yes, they had a little momentum because they had scored, but I really felt like we still had good momentum as well because defense made 2 big stands. I mean, they are 2 points away, which ended up helping a lot at the end. It always kept us a little bit ahead, and even when they were ahead, when they took the lead, and we'll talk about that in a minute, that point differential was good. They were somewhat chasing those for the rest of the night.
Yeah, and that's what when we got into halftime, that was you walk in and that's the first thing you feel is like, man, now they have the momentum.
Yeah.
But we got into the locker room and I told them, I said, y'all nothing's changed. That first quarter is the way we want to play the rest of the game. We made 2 mistakes. We had a defensive mistake from on our defensive end, not taking the quarterback, and we had a secondary mistake where our corner carried a slant route and the guy came out of the backfield and ran down the sideline. You take away those 2 and we've played a really, really good first half. So I was worried that we would come in at halftime and we'd have to try to pick them back up, but they were fine.
Good.
They felt good, and you could tell the vibe was good in the locker room, in the weight room, and they were ready for the second half.
So I was going to ask you, and you told me, and I was going to say that I felt like that was it because we go out in the second half and we start with the ball, and it goes. I mean, we're cooking again. We get another big pass to Tex. We're down to the 25, just like that at the 10:49 mark. We stall, but we do kick a field goal, a 39-yard field goal.
39-yard field goal.
That's a big deal.
Huge, and that's one of the points that I have written down is being able to kick those field goals.
Yes.
are beneficial because they tried one maybe not quite that long and didn't make it. So that's 3 points that's good for us. And then of course he makes another one later on. So
he does.
Huge for our game.
That puts us up 17-12, and then we kick off, and they get they break one. You know, they've got a lot of really good guys and a lot of quick guys. They get us and get it down to our 14. A few plays later, they score and they're up 19-17.
It's the first time we lost the lead in the game. And,
yes.
And so that makes you worry. But again, like I said, our kids didn't flinch. They just kept on fighting.
Well, to me, to your point, and you're verifying what I thought I knew. What I was impressed with was just that, and you could see that, like you can pick up on that watching the game and us doing the commentating. To me, I think that's a good place to be in the sense that that's basically like a playoff game. That atmosphere, what's on the line, and that shows. Drew, I think, said it. We scored when we needed to score. We stopped them when we needed to stop them. We didn't, tuck tail and run or anything.
Right.
We played well because we ended up, even though I wrote right here, so we went up the next drive with some penalties, but the passing game kept us going. TJ hit some great balls in the flats to gash, keeping the drive going, and we have to punt, but we pin them.
Yeah,
and that was huge. We ended up punting on that drive after an offensive pass interference. We couldn't see it because it was on that end over there, but a tremendous play by the special teams, pinning them deep.
Yep.
And look what it gets us.
Right.
So that's a tremendous momentum, gain for us as well, I thought.
That's right. Well, and we'll talk about him in a little bit, but Vance, our punter, Vance Johnson, he did a great job. Our punting team did a really good job protecting, giving him time to get the ball off. So we knew they may come, they may try to just hold you up. They do 1 to 2, but we did a great job giving protection and then covering the punts.
Yeah.
I think the one that we downed on the 1 yard line, I know Barry was there, and I can't remember who actually downed. I think Quickie downed it on the 1 yard line, but we had our guys were there. They were surrounding the ball. It was just a great job. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
So they start out with a quarterback sneak just to get some yardage, but they don't really get far. We get another huge stop. I put a big win for the defense. We get a touchdown run at the 9:19 mark, and just like that, we're back up 24-19.
That's right.
And that's great. And then our defense still solid. Another 3 and out. That's the one that's negated by the face mask.
Yep.
But then again, we hold them, and we because we punt to them, we pin them, and then that's where we get the strip sack or the strip tackle.
Strip tackle.
Tremendous play by Thomas.
Yep. Thomas had it was picture perfect. If you watch it, if you see it on video, he brings his hand in there, he goes right through the ball falls on the ground, he falls on
right
top
there,
of it.
and he's right there.
So it was a great play, and like I said earlier, Thomas had a great night. We need him to do that again next week too.
Absolutely. That strip tackle, strip tackle leads to a field goal at the 3-minute mark, and we go up 8, and feeling good because we know at least if they score, they've got to score and then go for 2. Yeah. So being up 8 was tremendous. They do a kickoff return to the 7, and here's what I liked about that. I didn't like the kickoff return. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But rather than looking like it took the air out of our sideline, our boys, it fired them up. They got out there and stuck it, and the huge play on 4th and goal. Just a tremendous effort.
Yeah, and not to go too far backwards, but after Thomas's fumble and recovery, and we got the ball on the 1 yard line, it was 1st and goal from the 1, and then we ended up in 3rd and goal from the 5.
Yeah.
So I was not pleased in the least about that. That there's no way. With the size of our offensive linemen and with JoJo running the football, there's no way we shouldn't be able to get a yard. Yeah. And so that was very disappointing. Coach Bolton called a great call on 3rd down to Tex, and on a rub route. It was perfect, designed exactly the way we wanted it to be. Tex is open and TJ misses it. And I know these are high school kids and they're giving their all, but we call it in my line of work where I'm from, what I'm used to, we call that a layup. You know, the guy that's dribbling the basketball down the court and there's nobody around him and he misses the layup. That's what that was. And we can't miss layups. We got to be able to complete that pass to Tex. And then, even though I'm still not happy about the kickoff, I wouldn't have felt near as bad because we would be up. We would have gotten 6 points out of that and had a more extended lead. But anyway, it is what it is. But that was just poor execution, and we got to get better at it.
Yeah, and I agree with that because it worried us a little because they took that thing right back down to the 7, and we're like, oh man.
Now, yes, and so let me
go
ahead and finish because where you were taking us was to the great part, which is that goal line stand, and our defense was they were on point. And if you watch, I know from in live view, you're sitting there watching it, everything's happening so fast, it's hard to see. When you go back and watch it on video, you'll see a play, the third down play, Antonio actually dives over the tackle and grabs the running back by the waist and brings him down and pulls him back. So that's why he doesn't even get to the end zone. I mean, his head doesn't even get there. On the fourth down play, you'll see Eli hit the tackle. I think it was the tackle. He hits him, goes to the ground, comes back up and hits the ball carrier and puts him on the ground. And Coach Bell, a friend of his, was standing at the goal line videoing it, and he showed it to me. The guy's just the very top of his head got to the goal line,
but not the ball.
No, the ball wasn't even close. And so it was just to see that effort, what they put into it, and to get the stop. It was huge and a great way to end a ball game. So
because I'll even say when it happened, like you talked about, it happened so fast. I think it was number 23. He shot through into the end zone.
Yeah, it looks like.
And I saw that white shirt go into the end zone, and I said it on there. I said he's in.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I wasn't happy about it. But then I looked at the official really quick, running in with his hand up.
And that was the H-back that was leading through. Yep. Nobody touched him.
And when he ran in with his arm up, just knowing he was getting ready to spot the ball, I was like, we got it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great stand, and proud of those guys. What they've been able to do. They're leading us, and we gotta keep that going.
I agree. So, Coach, you've kind of told us your overall thoughts, but you're welcome to talk any more about it as you we end up this game, and then give us your 3 takeaways about the Ashbrook game, how you feel, and then what you want to talk about with it.
The takeaways, first of all, is what we have said. So I'll try to make them a little bit quicker. Just some notes I jotted down. Special teams are so important. So we had 2 field goals. We had 2 punts inside of the 10. We had a big punt, 49-yard punt that got us out of the hole, even though we gave them a little bit more of a return than we wanted to. We blocked the punt, PAT, which is huge. Ashbrook missed a field goal, which is, that's not really anything on us, but the point is special teams are so important. And then, of course, our kickoff team is going to give me a heart attack. But other than that, special teams are so important, and we got to keep getting better at them. Another takeaway is having a dual threat offense is awesome. So when the running game's not working, it's good to be able to put the ball in TJ's hands and him get it out to multiple receivers. And so we want to run the football. That's what we want to do. That's what we're made to do. But when it doesn't happen, and of course everybody else, our opponents, they know we want to run the football. So if they do everything they can to stop it, we got to be able to throw the ball. So it's a dual threat offense, and that's great to have. And then the third takeaway I had was what we've been talking about: the strong character, the belief in our team, effort that our players play with is so important. And and I made the note: fourth quarter. We've been leading the whole game. Fourth quarter starts and we're down, and our guys don't flinch, and they're not making excuses, and they're not pointing fingers. They're just playing, and that's a great great thing to have in what you want your team to be able to do.
Of course.
So those are the takeaways, and but I would really, really not have a heart attack. Just so you know.
I don't want you to have one either. I do think it's funny now, but in the moment it's not. But the people, the number of people that as I'm walking down through the stands to come out there to the field to see my son. I was bringing you a drink, provided by Drew, by the way. I made sure to give Drew credit.
Give Drew credit.
I gave you one last week from Kim Bolin. I guess I got to give one away now since everybody else is giving you drinks. But when I say drinks, I mean Diet Sun Drop.
Definitely. I don't want kidney stone. That's all.
Exactly. That's what I'm working on myself. But no, I'm going down there and I keep hearing people, we got to shore up that kickoff team. And you want to look at people and say, do you not think they know that?
Yeah.
Do you not think they're trying or going to work on that? I mean, when things happen like that's what's funny to me in coaching. When things go awry, or the other team has a success with something, how the fans are quick to say, well, we got to fix that. Well, don't you think we know that?
Well, and here's the other thing so remember that. Remember that when you're saying that, because so I'm gonna be the bad guy. I'm gonna be the guy that everybody's gonna go, oh yeah. We tried to give a lot of players an opportunity, and take our starters in special teams off the field, to give them a break. But so we see what they see. Don't be mad at us.
I agree.
When the changes come, because I've actually gotten texts and emails and things of, hey coach, there's a lot more players over there on the sideline than what y'all are playing with. Blah blah blah. Yeah, but we know who needs to be out there.
Correct.
And so, and that's what we're going to do. You're going to see some changes. I just talked with the team a minute ago. They're going to see changes. But we put Eli and Samaj and Antonio on the kickoff team. They were out there at the beginning. Well, then at the end of the game, they're tired, they're wore out.
Sure.
And Antonio plays both sides of the ball, and so all of a sudden you're in that situation. Antonio needs a break, and you take him out for kickoff team. Well, and then that's what happens. So personnel is very important.
Yes, it is.
It's hard to get people to understand.
Yes, it is.
Personnel is very important.
Yes, it is.
So anyway,
and you said it earlier.
Of that.
At the end of the day,
I'm politically correct, am I not?
No, you are. And
Right,
I'm gonna back up something you said earlier. We love them all.
Yes.
And they play hard, but at the end of the day, we are talking about young men. I mean, these are kids, and we're asking them sometimes to make big time plays and big time decisions that just sometimes they're not capable of just yet. They're not mature enough.
Right.
We have to remember that. We've got kids out there that some of them are 15 years old.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I mean, we got to look at it like that too. But overall, a huge win and a big atmosphere. Our team played hard. They came through. I know you had to be pleased with that, and so
Definitely.
we're sitting where we want to be going into this week's game, and that's what we're going to talk about next. We're going to go away for a sponsor break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Crest Chargers, which will play this Friday night. So stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, KM Family YMCA, KM Paint Pros LLC, Author Services Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back, fans. Coach, another big game this week. Crest Chargers. We're heading over there. I know they're very athletic, very talented. Of course, they're well coached on both sides of the ball. I don't know their defensive coordinator, but I know he's had success where he's been. I just know a little bit about him, and of course, I know Coach Lloyd. Just give us some early thoughts of the game going into this week.
Well, it's a big game, so we want to play well, of course, but we know that there's a lot on the line. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's the whole crosstown rival deal that's going on, all that stuff that's happening, and of course, it's Coach Lloyd, and so there's a lot happening, a lot that these, you don't know how the kids are going to respond to it. So just watching them on film, the film that we got on them, they're athletic in every spot. They're not missing anything anywhere. I don't know how that happens. You know, it's kind of like the South Point that I came from. There people would say, "Man, how do y'all just keep getting those athletes?" I don't know. They're there, and so but they've got them. They've got a really good linebacker, and there's really no sense to start talking about every one of them because they're all good.
Right.
They've got 2 DBs that's already committed Power 5, and then you got the linebacker that's incredible. DL are tough, so offensively there's a huge challenge. But then you turn around and defensively, we've got a huge challenge also because the quarterback is. He's an exciting player. He can make things go explosive. So it's their receivers can run. So we're kind of back in the same boat that we were against Ashbrook. We know that it's going to be a tough game and hard fought, and we've got to make sure we limit mistakes, and we can't have any blown coverages and do things like that. And then of course there's the whole making sure that we're sound against everything, and even some things that we haven't seen. All of that's going to be important. But had a great day of practice today, and I think the coaches have a really good plan. It's just a matter of getting through the week, making sure that we can try to stay healthy. We've got some guys that are banged up, and we got to get them back right so that we can be because we're going to have to be in full force this Friday. This is going to be a really tough. They're a really tough team. Very good, very talented.
Well, I was telling some people at church yesterday, the Big South most likely is going to get 5 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and based on RPI.
Yep.
I mean, so that says a lot about our conference.
Yeah, the conference is pretty even at top.
I'm telling you, it's very top heavy. But I mean, when you're looking at a team, I mean, even like I said, like what I saw yesterday, even Hunter Huss is going to make it in. They're talented enough to scare some people.
That's right.
And cause some issues. And so this game Friday is another big one. And then what's crazy about it is there is a strong possibility we can see each other. Some of these teams can bump into each other again.
Oh yeah.
Us, Ashbrook, South Point, Crest, Hunter Huss, we could see each other again in the first or second round or something like that. So definitely not an easy one, but I know you guys will be ready and you're excited to play it, and it'll be a good experience. It's a neat atmosphere. Crest puts on a good place or hosts good games. I mean, they've got great fans. I know we travel well. It'll be a lot of fun. So
yes.
We're looking forward to it. Let's do our Butler Outdoor Designs Players of the Week. So as we always do, we'll start with our overall player of the week, and then we'll do our individual position places or sides of the ball.
All right. So the overall player of the week, I've got to go with Tex. I thought he had a great game. He ended up with 5 catches for 215 yards and a touchdown. His longest pass was 75 yards. That was on the penalty. But he gets credit for all those yards. But that's a lot of yards for a wide receiver. So Tex had a great game, and I just watching him play. I just can't wait to see what he's like as he continues to get stronger and understands the game a little more. He's a heck of a player. So after. Overall for offense this week, I'm gonna go with TJ. TJ Armstrong he was 12 for 19 throwing the ball, 262 yards. He had a touchdown. He did have an interception, which really, if you look at it, not to say that, but it was a 3rd and long situation. If we didn't get the first down, we're gonna end up punting it anyway. So it wasn't a killer, but 262 yards is a lot of yards, so we're going to go with TJ for offensive. But I will say honorable mentions, of course, Gash, he had 4 catches, 46 yards. He had a big catch across the middle, falling backwards, that kept the drive going. JoJo, even though his stats weren't the greatest, 18 carries, 57 yards, he did have 2 touchdowns, which were big, and he ran hard all night. They made it hard for him. So all of those guys did a great job, but TJ is the offensive player of the week. Defensive Player of the Week, man. This is a long list. Honorable mentions. Eli had a great game. He had. Remember the production points. I'm not going to go read up through all their stats, but Eli had 69 production points, which is great. Fourth down stop down the goal line is added in there. Antonio Armstrong had a great night. He had 65 production points and led the team in tackles. He ended up with 13, but and I'm going to come back and go again in a minute. Sorry about that. And talk about Alamo tackles, which are important. Quickie, Jaden Williams had a great night. I thought in the secondary, 3 passes broken up. He had an Alamo tackle, 44 production points. Samaj Odoms, 57 production points. He ended up with 10 tackles altogether, 2 tackles for losses, a quarterback pressure, a sack, and then Deshaun Camp blocking the PAT, and he had 41 production points also. But this week's Defensive Player of the Week is going to be Thomas Fair. And like I said, he had a breakout night. It's the best game of the year by far, and we need him to do that more. He had 6 solo tackles, 6 assists, 4 tackles for loss. He had a sack. He had a caused fumble, a recovered fumble. He had a 3rd down stop, and he ended up with 96 production points, which led the team.
A good night.
So it was a good night for him, and it was good to see him playing like that again, because we just knowing him from last year, he can go. So we got to have him. And then our Special Teams Player of the Week, honorable mention obviously is Matt Rom. He had 2 field goals, which was really good. One of them's 39 yards, one of them 22 yards. He did good. I had to pick between him and our Vance Johnson, our punter, so I went with Vance because we're trying to teach Matt where we want the ball to be kicked and where not to kick it. Sometimes we tell him to kick it and not to kick it, and he kicks it over there anyway. So we're gonna fix that. But Matt did have a great night. But I have to go with Vance because he ended up with 3 punts. One of them was a 49-yarder with the roll, and then he kicked 2 that were inside the 10-yard line, and one of them we downed on the 1, which is where we got the fumble. So I'm gonna go with Vance Johnson for Special Teams Player of the Week.
And our teammate of the week this week?
Teammate of the week is TJ.
TJ, that's what I thought.
TJ Armstrong. He was picked by Barry. Last week's teammate of the week picks is the next one. Has to tell the team why he's picking them, and so TJ Armstrong's our player.
He gets to wear the hat.
And he wore the hat, took the picture.
That's my favorite part.
Yes, sir.
That hat.
Awesome.
Coach, appreciate you. You can go call Coach back. Tell him not to be calling us during the show.
Man, well, he wins the Liver Mush Championship. Now he thinks he can just call anybody anytime. I don't understand it.
He's probably wondering why you're ghosting him. But no, I appreciate you, Coach. And like I said, we'll see you Friday. And good luck.
Thank you.
Let's get
Appreciate
after
it. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, fans, stick around. We come back. We'll talk about this week at Kings Mountain, and we'll go from there. See you in a few minutes.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, KM Family YMCA, KM Paint Pros LLC, Arthur Services Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back, fans. Good to see you. And we are going to now talk about all the wonderful things going on this week at Kings Mountain, as well as recognize our fan of the week. So tonight, men's soccer is playing right now as we're speaking, outside against Stuart Kramer. Tomorrow, our volleyball team is making another great run. They travel to North Iredale at 6 p.m. tomorrow night in the fourth round. Which one is it, Drew? Fourth round. Yeah, I guess it would be good if I just read it because it says fourth round.
There's another graphic.
Yeah. The men's soccer goes to Crest on Wednesday. At 6 p.m., JV football will be here on Halloween night hosting the Chargers. And volleyball will be in the regional finals on Thursday if they win tomorrow. Varsity football will be at Crest at 7:30. Boys cross country will be in the 3A state at Kernersville starting at 2:40 on Saturday. Volleyball, if they are to win, of course, Tuesday and Thursday, will be playing again on Saturday. There's the graphic for the volleyball playoffs. Hope some of you can go up to North Iredell and cheer them on. I believe they beat them last year in part of their run to the state championship. The game time is at 6 p.m. Admission is $7. North Carolina High School Athletic Association playoff passes are the only ones accepted. Here's a very great looking crew. They're called what?
That's the fathers.
Oh, the fathers of the team.
They've been dressing up like that.
Okay. So I don't really have a lot to say about what they're dressed like. I do like Kevin Osborne's rolled up pants on his overalls there. All of them are doing it, appears. But there's the fathers of the team looking good and supporting the girls. We hope you can come out and support them as well. There is our team qualifiers for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 3A state championship up in Kernersville this weekend. Second year in a row for our boys cross country team. Last year was the first time in school history for the program to make it. And look at them there. They're going again. There's Coach Howell with them and carrying on the tradition that was set forth so strong by Coach Ravis Key.
You ready for fan of the week?
I am ready for the fan of the week. Look at there. Look at that. That's my grandbaby, Lowry Inez Hoppus. Well, how about that? So Miss Lowry, she won't know she's on television, but I got to tell her mom and daddy because I know they're not watching live. And, of course, my family too. So that is my oldest daughter, Molly's first baby. And she is spoiled rotten and came up in the press box and put on the headset Friday night and got to see all of us and eat some tater wedges while Drew was eating his too. So there she is. Lowry Inez Hoppus, the Kings Mountain Mountaineer fan of the week. Thank you, Drew. Mountaineer football this Friday. Pre-game starts at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7:30. Halftime show will be Drew Mode with KMO. KMHS Sports is where it'll be. We will be broadcasting because the good folks of Cleveland County at Burns, Shelby, and Crest allow us to broadcast from their place, and we allow them to broadcast from here. So we will be there, and we will be on air on YouTube. Speaking of that, we have another graphic, Drew, or I can go on. Okay, speaking of that, we want you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel like I tell you each week. The more likes and subscriptions we have, that helps us. We are blessed to have a YouTube channel because it is able or allows us to be able to show the things that we show not only via football but other sports as well, and band competition or the band when they're playing those kinds of things. Thank you for that. Thank you Touchdown Club for sponsoring all this, led by David and Marie Brinkley, as well as the board of directors. We thank you so much for what you do. As I tell you each week, if you are not a member of the Touchdown Club, please go to kmtouchdownclub.com and sign up and join. Every dollar that you put into that and through your donations and through your membership fees, all of it comes back to Kings Mountain. And in fact, you look at the facilities that we have, they're second to none, and that money goes through there, among other things, and they help all things Mountaineer. We appreciate what the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club does for each of us to allow us to be able to do this. We want to also continue to, I want to tell you like I do every week, to go out and support some of these young athletes and what they're doing. The volleyball team is making another strong run. We've got the JV football playing here Thursday night. Soccer is going on as well, and cross country on Saturday. Good luck to them in the state tournament, and we just appreciate all that you do. Thank you, fans, for being with us. Continue to pray for our brothers and sisters in the mountains who are still struggling and recovering from Hurricane Helene, and keep them in your prayers and thoughts as you go through the rest of these days. I hope you have a great and productive week. I hope you are safe, and I hope you are blessed. Take care.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, KM Family YMCA, KM Paint Pros LLC, Arthur Services Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home,